Hi everyone, I'm Janneke and this is my channel Books and Stitches, all about books and cross stitch. Today's video is going to be all about cross stitch, so if you're interested in that, keep watching. First of all, sorry if you can hear my fan, and for the artificial light it is way too hot to not have the fan on or to have the curtains open. So we're just going to deal with the yellow light and the sound of my fan. It's been a while since my last Flosstube video. I think it's been about 2 months since the last one I filmed, and about a month since I uploaded that one, because that also took me quite a while to... Ooh, not sure what that was. That video took me quite a while to edit and upload as well, to get around to it. So hopefully that'll go quicker this time and it won't take me another month to actually upload this, but we'll see. Better late than never is what I titled the last video, right? So one pro maybe of that it's been so long since I filmed is that I have a lot of progress to show you. If you're new here, my name is Janneke. I work on 5 different works in progresses with the desire to work on a lot more, but not the mental space or physical space or financial ability to like store more projects and buy more projects. So we're gonna stick with 5, and anytime I finish one, I get to start a new one. That hasn't happened yet since I started Flosstube, but this is only like my 5th video, and cross-stitch projects can take a long time to finish. I am planning or projecting, like realistically thinking, that I will finish 2 of my projects this year, or at least at the very beginning of next year. So I will get to start 2 new projects pretty soon, like if half a year is pretty soon, but either way. So let's start with the project I barely touched, I guess, because that one is on top of the pile. I have a tablecloth that I am slowly working on. I don't really enjoy stitching on it that much. I barely ever stitch on it, to be perfectly honest, but I do have it on my whip go board, which is like a cross stitch bingo board. So it's on there 2 more times, and I think I only need to do 2 more flowers. So once those get spun, I will finish it. It wasn't spun either of the last 2 months, so not in July or August. So I didn't like do too much on it, so I won't like get it out of the plastic. But I did do a couple of stitches in this purple, but that is like what you can see right now is all I've done on this project. So let's just put it away and ignore it. It will be spun at least 2 more times, also a maximum of 2 more times. It's just on my whip go board 2 more times. So it will be spun 2 more times this year, and then I will actually work on an entire flower and show it to you properly. But then we're just gonna do it in the order they're laying here. I don't know what order that is, but we're gonna work on Aurora next, or not work on it, show you Aurora next. So I have done quite a bit on Aurora. Aurora was spun in August, and I believe also in July. So my goal every time Aurora is spun is to do at least 1,000 stitches. Now this is part half stitch, part full stitch, because it's a dimensions kit, and I'm not really consistent on whether or not I count half stitches as 1 stitch or a half stitch with the 1,000 stitch goal, because it really just depends on how I'm like feeling at the time. But either way, I have now done a total of about 17,000 stitches on this project, 4,000 of which were in the last 2 months. So there is a lot to show you. So I will show you a picture of what it looked like before. I should still have that somewhere. Although I usually just take screenshots, I think, from my previous video. So that will definitely be possible. And then this is where it's at right now. So you can see part of it has crossed like the fold of the middle, but we're gonna fold it like this so I can show you like well. The first time it was spun in July, I worked mostly on the sky. You can see a lot of this is a bit new, like a lot of the pink especially, I believe. Like it's gone a lot farther this way. So yeah, in July I worked, I think, almost entirely in the sky, because I just needed some like mindless stitching, and this is like big blocks of color, so that works really well for that. this little square still needs to be filled in, but it's like a star or a speck of magic or something, so it's like full crosses and like completely different from the mindless block stitching I wanted to do at the time. So that still needs to be filled in, but the rest around it is what I worked on most in July. And then in August I focused entirely on the polar bear. Also, if I call it an ice bear, I'm sorry. It's like in my head I keep calling it an ice bear, and like having to like consciously decide, oh no, it's a polar bear in English. It's because in Dutch it's an ijsbeer, which literally translates to ice bear. So yeah, the ice bear or the polar bear, however you like to call it. I focused almost exclusively on the polar bear. It's so unnatural to me. I started basically the most right of the polar bear and then looked for what was empty and then just did that strand. So I did quite a bit in the foot, but mostly I worked on the hat, and I think it's looking really great. It definitely still needs the back stitching. I haven't done any back stitching on this project yet, and I probably won't until it's completely finished, like all the normal crosses, or like at least until a big part is finished that I can just backstitch like consecutively for a bit, because I can't yet, because there's like a couple of back stitches I could do in here, but then most of it I can't do yet because there are still crosses that need to be made. So this is what I worked on. I'm really enjoying it. I don't love stitching on it, to be perfectly honest. It's a fun stitch, but it just takes a lot more effort sometimes to stitch than most other projects, because you have to keep checking for every color how many strands you need and if it's a full cross or a half cross, because everything is different. Like sometimes you only need 1 strand, sometimes you need 5 strands. So yeah, there's a lot of differences in this piece I mean, but I think that's why I consciously decided to just only do half stitches in July and only do full stitches in August. So like you can see still a couple of gaps here when I worked on the ice bear that in most normal pieces I would have filled in. But in this one I was like, oh, those are half stitches. I don't want to do half stitches right now. So I just ignored them and figured next time I work on the grounds, I'll just fill those in. But I am really loving how it's looking. I can't wait to get a start on the princess, but that will be a while still. Like, oh, she looks so pretty. So I can't wait to start on her. But yeah, it will be a while before I get there. But I am really like happy with the progress so far. And I don't know how much more I will stitch on it. It just, when the mood strikes probably. Let me check real quick. It is on my Whipco board at least one more time. I keep saying at least, like it's just on there once. It's not more than once. But it is on there one more time. So at least 1,000 stitches will still go into it. Probably more. Like realistically speaking, I work on, I think, every project I touch at least a little bit every month. So yeah, but at least 1,000 stitches will still go into this, and I would personally really like to just fill everything up to the folds. But I stitch cross country, so it will like go on here as well, so it'll be a bit, but I would really like to just have this project half finished cross stitch wise. Then all the back stitch and French knots will come later when I feel up to learning how to do them. I know how to backstitch, but this project has couching and French knots as well, and I've never done either of those. So at some point we'll learn how to do it, probably at the end of the project. So then my next thing here is the birth samplers I'm doing. Now I'm gonna be honest, I can't remember what I'd done in July. In June, like last time I showed you, I can't remember what I'd done and what I hadn't done. I'm doing 4 of them. I'm doing one for each of my nephews and niece. So both my brother and sister each have 2 kids, and their eldest kids will get a deer birth sampler, and the youngest one's this fox one. So I have since, I think, done the entirety of one of the deer ones, or maybe I'd already started it, and you see a picture of where I was at last time here. Not sure. But at least one of them was already finished last time, and you've already seen. So, but I finished the second one, and I will soon need to start working on framing them, because the first one's birthday, I want to give them all to them on their next birthday, because they're not born this year. Like the eldest is like 10 or 11 or 12 or something. I'm so bad with his age. I keep forgetting it and then saying the wrong thing. And he keeps making fun of me for it. Like, it's like a joke to him that I just don't know how old he is. But yeah, his birthday is pretty soon, so I like need to get it start on actually framing it. I have the frames at least, and I have like pieces of cardboard to put behind it. So I just need to get threads for my mom to like lace them at the back. I've watched like some tutorial videos on how to do it, so hopefully it'll turn out alright. This is the projects. So there is still a bit of fabric down here that I folded, which has like their names and like birth dates, but I'm not showing those on camera. So this is it. I've now finished both of the deer ones. So next time I will get a start on the fox. I've not started that one yet. But the bird sampler is on my whip go 3 more times. So anytime it's cold, I will either do the entire animal or the like leaves around it as well as the name, because that's in like the same colors as the leaves. So just by doing whip go, I should finish 1.5 more, and then when it's only half more, I'll probably want to finish it off anyway. Oops. You didn't see that. I'll probably cut that out. Yeah, I dropped it and it showed the name for a bit, so I probably cut that out. But like I was saying, I'll probably have these finished by the end of the year, because they don't take that much time, I guess. Like if I really focus on it, I can get it done in like, I don't know, 2 weeks, which I don't want to like really focus on it. I want to just do it like I have been doing it. But like anytime I work on one of these, I just want to finish them because they're so small. So whenever I work on the animal, I just want to finish the animal. And then whenever I work on the border, I just want to finish the border and the name. So I'm expecting to get these completely finished this year. I guess these are technically finishes and new starts, but I'm counting them as one project. So yeah, next time I will have made a start on the fox. I have not yet started it, so there's nothing to show except for empty fabric. But also next time I will either show you a framed the actual framed artwork, I guess, or a picture of it, depending on when I manage to film again. Or maybe I won't have done it yet if I manage to film again next week. Who knows? My filming schedule is like all over the place right now. My plan was, when I started this, and technically still is, to film a video once a week and then have one of those be around cross stitch and Flosstube, and the other week about books and booktube. So then you would have a Flosstube update every other week. But as you've seen, if you've watched me before or followed me, that is not happening. Like energy wise and health wise, I'm just not managing much at all. So right now it's just totally arbitrary. Whenever I manage to get the energy up to do it, I will, and have the time for it, I will do it. So who knows how long it'll take. It could be a week, it could be a month. Hopefully it won't be 2 months again, because I do think that's way too long. The next project is a big change if you've seen it before. Or, I mean, if you've seen my videos before. So the next project is, this is the wrong piece of paper. Here it is. It is Pecking Order by Marjolein Basten. Marjolein Basten. I don't know if she's Dutch. I keep just saying her name in a Dutch way because it sounds Dutch. But it is a kit by Lennart. I've printed out a cover picture because it was really small on the kids. But yeah, this is it. And I was quite far along on this already, to be honest. Like, not that far if you look at all of it. I'd done 3 of the birds, like this little section. That's what I had done. But that is now all frogged, sadly enough. So if you can kind of see it a little bit on this picture, but on the picture on the actual kit, you could see some modeling on the fabric, but it was like very subtle and nice, and it's kind of on here as well. I don't know if the camera picks that up or not, but it's very subtle. But the actual fabric, it's very dark and bright. And I had the bird stitch on this, and you just could barely see them because they just faded away into all the bright spots. And like I said on the picture on the kit, it was very like pastel, maybe, like it just was very subtle. It was not like this at all. So I stitched on this, and then I showed my mom, and as I'm making this for a gift for her, her opinion is like the most important. But I myself as well, we just, neither of us liked it. Because you could barely see the birds because it was just so busy. So I frocked all of that, and I have since made a tiny new start. Like I made the new start yesterday and worked a bit on it today on like the wing of the bird in the middle. So I'm like, I don't know, 300 stitches into it now, and I was like 4,000 stitches into it. But this way it will be a piece that my mom will actually love, which is way more important. So yeah, I'm just doing it on the back of the fabric from the kit because the back isn't printed. So yeah, hopefully I'll get a lot more of this done soon. It's kind of strange to go from like 4,000 stitches to 0 and now 300. But I think overall we will both be happier with the end result like this. I am noticing it's very strange to like have this as the back though, because it's, like I said, so busy. But like when I'm tying threads off, it's so weird because you can barely see like where you can slide it under because it's so blue. Either way, this is what I've done. It's like 400 stitches. It's not too much. I spun this for Wipco this month, and my goal on this is always 1,000 stitches. And I'd done part of that already before like I decided to frog it all. So technically I changed my goal to just frog it all because that was so much effort. But August isn't over yet. It's only, I think, the 22nd or the 24th or something around there. So I would like to still get 1,000 stitches into this, just for like personal satisfaction, I guess. So I'm gonna be working on it for a little bit more. But yeah, this is my 4th project. I have already decided on another project I want to make for my mom, and I'm terrible at surprises for her because I just want to share everything with her. So I've already showed her and talked to her about it. So surprise completely ruined for something that is not even happening right now. But I think it's really fun and cute. I have seen a lot of Emma Congdon and Stitchrovia designs all over Flosstube. So I really wanted to try one myself. I guess this is a bit of future haul what I'm telling you, because I'm telling you about like the plan I have for this project, and I'll show a picture of it, but I don't plan on buying it until something is finished. So either the tablecloth or the pair of samplers probably. But I was just going through her Etsy store just to see what all of her designs were, because I'd seen so much of her on YouTube, not of her, but of her designs. And I got really curious, and when I was just like looking through her designs, I saw this bee one. It's called Sweet as Bee, and I'll put a picture up. But I saw it and I just could not help stop thinking of my grandfather, because my grandfather used to keep bees and like make his own honey from them, and like he'd give the honey to like my mom, for example, probably a lot more people, but like in my experience, my mom. So like I saw this piece that was like Sweet as Bee, and it was all about bees and honey, and I was like, oh my god, that reminds me so much of my grandfather. So I just knew I had to stitch it. And my mom has like this little place in her house where she has like a picture of my grandmother and my grandfather. So I would just love to stitch that and give it to her, and she can like place it near that little section, and it's just like a reminder of her father. And I think that's so cute. So yeah, that's probably what I'm going to be stitching next after I finish something, or depending on how well my self-control is earlier, if I'd happen to have some money left over. I don't know yet. I still really want to just stick to 5 projects, because in my mind it's a bit of rest to know I can touch every project and like make actual progress on everything each month. But at the same time, there's just so many cool designs I want to work on, like so many. There's also one on Etsy from the TV show Only Murders in the Building that I just love, and it's like tiny, and I'm just like, oh, I could stitch it in a couple of days. But yeah, I will buy them at some point when I actually have the means to stitch them. I think I haven't even shown you my Disney piece yet, have I? It's not here in the pile. Let me go grab it, because it's like my biggest piece and like the thing I've made the most progress on. I put it away because I was meant to have a friend over, and it takes up like a lot of room, and I can like put it in like the little compartment I had to rest in, because it's just too big unless I fold it up, and I didn't want to fold it up. It's in a hoop and everything, so but that plan fell through, but I forgot that I put it away. So it is here now, and I can show you. This is Disney Mickey as artist. It is from an Etsy shop. I don't remember which one, but I absolutely love it. It's enormous. It's like 1,000 by 800 stitches, 1,000 by 660 stitches. So it's like enormous. Hopefully I will get it finished sometime in my lifetime, but it'll take years and years. I have decided to like divide the like pattern into like sections of about 9 pages. So I am working on the first section of those right now, and I have finished 6 pages already, which is pretty nice. I mean, to be fair, 5 of those 6 are partial pages, because I always start in the bottom right corner, but the signs are always made from the bottom left. So the right column and the bottom row are often not like full pages, but still I did 6 pages total, which is pretty nice. This is like how I divided it. So like you have this section of 9 that I'm doing right now, because I liked the scene, I guess, for most of those, and then since it's 1 row longer, I have sections of 12 in here. But like the way that divides the project, I think, gives a lot of like nice little scenes to complete. So for example, right now we would complete this little scene with this dwarf, which I never remember who it is, because it doesn't look like whoever it is. Because some of them are very obvious. Like you have Grumpy right here, you have Doc right here, you have this shy one right here. I never remember his name because it doesn't end in I. Bashful. You've got Bashful right here, you've got Dopey. This looks like Sleepy, but then you've got Happy and Sneezy, and neither of them is Sneezy, and they both look happy. So I don't know which is which. I can never remember. I keep looking it up, because like you can see from like the colors of their pants and just the shapes of their faces and stuff, when you have an actual like picture with their names, which one it is. But I can't remember, because both of the ones I don't know, like this, the one in the frame that I'm doing, and this one right here, they both look happy, and neither of them is sneezing. So which one is it? Either way, that's not important right now. That is the scene I'm working on right now. The one with the bunny and the squirrel and the chipmunk and one of the dwarfs. It is in a frame and I need to get it out, but it's tough. It's a new frame, so I think they'd have figured out how to make it easier, but it's actually so much more difficult to open than my old frame. Because my old frame has this nice little long thing that you can turn, and this one only has the tiny thing. It's going open though. Like normally I just show you in the frame, but since it's been 2 months, I've done so much that you wouldn't see it in the frame. I don't remember what exactly I've done, but I know like a bit of what I did. So, picture of where I was and everything. This is where I'm at right now. Obviously, it still has big hoop marks because it was still in the hoop. But yeah, it's looking so good. I really, really love this project. It's too big though to like show you, which is a bit annoying. I finished this page. I don't think I had that finished yet. Last time you saw it. So on that page, I think I did have the chipmunk already finished. Let me There we go. I mostly just did background of the floor, and I did like a tiny bit of a turtle that's right here. So like this is the foot of a turtle that's like laying on its shell right here. So tiny start on that before we're going to ignore it for not forever, but for a while. But I finished this like floor area mostly. I think the chipmunk was already finished, like I said. And then I moved on to this page. So I did like the lists and the blues. These are the smallest pages because they're only like this, and the normal pages are like this. So these are the smallest pages. But I worked on the list of the painting and the blue background, which is, I don't think it is anything. I think it's just like abstract painting, and a lot of shadow here. And you can see better on camera than in real life, but you can kind of see one of the Dalmatians starting. It's like very much in the shadow, so it's not meant to be obvious. It's not like obvious in the actual picture either, but it's actually more obvious on the camera than it is in real life, which is nice. But yeah, this is like the body of a Dalmatian that's in the shadow, and this is like its collar, and then its head will be here. That won't be as shadowed, so you'll see that better once it's finished. While I'm actually stitching this, it will be white on white and you'll barely see it, but either way, that is the next page I finished. And now I am working on, not this page, this page. So I've worked a lot, mostly on the foot. I tend to stitch from the right to the left and from bottom to top, so kind of like the exact opposite of most Flosstubers I've seen. But basically I start in the bottom right, and then I do a column on a page from the bottom up, and then once that column is done, I move a color to the left. That is just how I pick colors. Then in that block I will just like pick a color and do that wherever it goes, and I'll just finish the threads. Sometimes I will do a couple of strands in the same color. Sometimes I finish one strand and it's like, okay, let's go to the next color. But I tend to finish the color on the page unless there's like a whole lot of it. Then sometimes I split that into like 2 or 3 times of stitching. But in general, I just stitch cross-country across a page unless I think the traveling is too far. Because sometimes I'm just not like comfortable traveling for like one stitch as well. Especially if there's nothing to like anchor it at the other end, because then it often gets lost, I find, and even if it's just one stitch in the middle of nowhere. But this is what I'm working on right now. It's not the most interesting part because it's mostly just his foot, but what I found really interesting is while I was working on his foot, I kept seeing stuff come up right here. I was like, what is this? But when I looked at the pattern, this is nothing. This will just be background floor, but this is another shoe of a dwarf, because I think it's the shy one again, Bashful. This is like Bashful's foot, because he's like laying here with his foot up. So that was really interesting. I didn't realize that was also on this page, but like the colors kept also popping up over here, and through the shape I really thought this would be something, and I was like, there's nothing there, what is that? But that isn't anything. This is just a list. So this is like the shadowy part of the list, and this is the foot. So yeah, I think that's really interesting, and I'm very excited to continue it. Speaking of continuing it, it'll be a while before I get there, but if you want, you can have a vote on my next section of 9 pages, because I don't know where to go from here. I mean, I still need to do 3.5 pages before this section of 9 pages is finished, so like I said, it'll be a while. But after it's finished, I will either go up, which means I would do Dumbo and like Snow's shoulder and part of Cinderella's dress and the staircase, but mostly Dumbo and the Dalmatian I've already started. Or I would move to the left, in which case I would do the turtle and Bashful and Dopey, and again a Dalmatian, and Snow's skirt, just her skirt. I won't do Snow's face no matter where I go, because my mom was like, oh, just go to Snow. But I was like, she's in both sections of 9, and neither is really an interesting part of her. It's either her shoulder or her skirt, which is just yellow. But there are animals on there, so that's also interesting. But I don't really know where to go yet, and let me try and focus a little bit more on it. Maybe if I'm not there, I can't see it, so I don't know if it's focused right now or not. But yeah, I will either go to Dumbo and the little Dalmatian, or to bashful and dopey and a little Dalmatian. That's basically the choice. So if you have any preference of what you'd like to see stitched up first, let me know. It's gonna be a while before I get there. Like, don't expect it to happen soon, but eventually I'll get there. And I don't know where to move on from these 9 pages yet. When I first started the project, I figured I'd just do it the way I normally do cross stitch, which is just start in the bottom right and then go up, and then once that column is finished, go to the left, continue like that. But then I did like a part of a bunny, and I wanted to finish the bunny, so I did that, and then I divided it like this because it just made sense to have like little scenes. So yeah, I will either go up or to the left, and I don't know which yet. So let me know what you think is most fun or interesting, or you want to see. Do you want to see the little elephant, or do you want to see the little turtle? Do you want to see another dwarf? I'm already doing one, but there are 7 in there, so there are so many Dalmatians as well. I don't know how many there are. I don't think there are actually 101 in here. There are a lot, like especially on this side of the pattern, which is like towards the end, so I won't be there in a while. But yeah, I'm really excited about this project. I absolutely love it. And that is where I'm at with it. I feel like I've had more to tell you, but I don't remember what it is. But it's been so long that I don't remember how to do this anymore. I haven't filmed in like 2 months. How do you make cross stitch videos anymore? How do you make videos in general? I'm sure it'll be fine. But yeah, it's been a while and I've kind of forgotten how to do this. I think I've shown everything I wanted to show and told you everything I wanted to tell you. So I'm just gonna wrap this up, and then hopefully in the next 2 weeks you'll see me again, but it might be longer than that. We'll see. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like. Let me know you liked it in the comments, even if it's just like a little emoji, just to like let me know you're there. I personally struggle a lot with leaving comments at times because partly because of exhaustion, where I'm just watching and like not ready to do anything more active than just watching. But also sometimes I just don't know what to say because I just struggle with getting my words out. So I've been trying to leave emojis to like let people know, hey, I watched it and I liked it and stuff. So I'm also still kind of struggling with that, but I'm trying. So that's something. So if you struggle with leaving comments, but you still want to let me know, like, hey, I watched this and enjoyed it, totally feel free to just leave an emoji or something in the comments instead of like words. It's totally fine. I totally understand it and appreciate it. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you again. Have a nice time, a week, month, however long it'll be, and hopefully you'll all have a lot of fun stitching as well. Bye!